Say again? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
But it was like they were reminding us which game we're watching. It's like, I really want to see what's going on in MVP home. This is just Team Secret versus CDEC.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go to an MVP update or something, but no, it's cool. All right, so final match between these two, or final game in this match between these two, CDEC Gaming versus Team Secret.
CDEC, turn to ban.
Yeah, as I said, personally for me, I love seeing these teams play. Tragically obliged to say that, but it has been a little bit, just been a little bit too
Stale for you.
too stale.
Yeah. Wait, how did the coin toss go? So what?
Secret had first pick game 1. And
Okay,
game
so
3.
first pick has lost both games.
No, you coin flip
Or?
for the first game,
Yep.
and opposite side second, and then you coin flip again for the third game.
Okay,
So I
Secret
wonder who
second.
won this, because first pick lost 2 previous games.
I imagine
Secret
teams
might
still
have just
chose.
chosen it
I
again.
imagine teams still choose first pick. Even I don't think that's
Or
gonna turn
Dyer,
them
I
off.
think.
It's just
because
very small sample.
Even
but
Dyer is like really good now. I think of the Roshan and the offlane, it's better. I think it's better because
I
you
think
can
better
block.
than choosing
Team,
first pick.
Team Secret also seem to really favor having strats that can control the Roshan. Like every game they've really had control.
Their like average match time is much longer than most teams. They play much more towards the late game. So yeah, Rosh is a lot more important for them.
But do you guys think that crafting a team fight composition will be really important in this matchup between these two
Yeah,
teams?
I mean, so far for both game 1 and 2 it was. So I mean, I expect CDC to go for the void again. Like it's, I think the previous game was they had the void, but what did they have to go with the void?
Yeah, they had
picked
void.
the Rubik was the big question mark pick for me because like game 1 they had Lena Enchantress and then they go into a Rubik, which doesn't really offer.
But don't
much
you
with
think it's
void.
also because of the core they paired with the Void? Like they had Weaver and
Yeah.
Razor, who are just meant to win their lanes and not meant to, do well with the
10
Chrono. They're just gonna
seconds
right click
remaining.
outside the Chrono.
I think they got tempted to get Rubik because there was a tide.
And then
Seconds
it was hilarious.
remaining.
You could see how much disrespect Secret showed towards the Rubik because they picked Enigma after the Rubik. Like you pick Rubik,
Doesn't matter.
we don't care. We'll take Enigma anyways.
It's not like about the
CDEC.
black hole.
No,
I mean,
it's
the
not.
black hole was really good in the game, but it was more of like we wanted to have a jungler that
Yeah.
can transition into a core so that we can actually pressure you in the game. You have to always feel like we have to do something because the enemy has one guy jungling.
Yeah.
And if we don't do anything, we're gonna lose out.
They
I
could have
think
won
this is
that
gonna be
game
a
without
puck,
him.
by the way.
I mean, without black
That'll be
hole.
really
Yeah,
good.
let's be real though. The Rubik was never gonna get anything anyways. He gets Blink and he's an Ace of Lens, okay.
Still,
But he was never going to when they have an Enchantress and he
10
has to play like the hard
seconds
5 support. He like go beyond playing the hard 5 support. He has to be like
5
the
seconds
6th
remaining.
position, and he's never gonna make that impact.
okay. Or Lena.
Is it the same?
Well,
Is this the same?
Yeah, it's the
opening?
same. Apart from the Invoker is different. Team Secret.
Yep.
From game 1, I can't remember what they
Game 1
opened with.
Secret banned it out instead of
Yeah.
the Bounty.
In the,
Absolutely.
did they ban it?
Bounty was second stage ban in game 1.
I think this is like similar. This is similar logic to game 1. The reason I said they might go for puck is that obviously worked for them very well in game 1. I think it's a solid mid laner, but they do the same thing here, just with the Lena. It can go mid, it can play against Invoker, and if they need it, they can swap something else.
Oh, so team fight it is.
Team Secrets,
They're going
turn
back
to
for-
ban.
Telling man, just pick Silencer if you CD. I had to say it at some point, boys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean,
it is true, though.
Winter even said it's not about the black hole, and it's really not. Like you win that last game
Invoker,
with black hole.
Invoker, he gets
Yeah.
sad.
Who else doesn't get
too.
Who else
Huh?
doesn't get
Void makes
silent?
him sad too.
I don't think
5
Silencer is a bad
seconds
idea,
remaining.
but
Oh yeah, sorry.
you probably ban Tide now.
Yeah, but at the
Reserve
same
time.
time, when you have Invoker, like you want supports to have like disable. You don't want to just rely on okay,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have black holes so that I can land my combo. You want something else that you can always constantly have instead of a big cooldown like black hole. I mean, it's nice to have silencer against
Yeah.
the void, but then again, you have to realize it's all about having balance as well.
No, I meant CDEC get Silencer.
Oh, for CDEC.
Yeah. To play against the Enigma Black Hole and also make a Invoker sad.
Yeah, it's still good, but at the same time, for Chronosphere, like you want to drop
CDEC, turn
that actually
to
can
ban.
deal instant damage. like
But
first.
when the chrono's over,
If the chrono is over and you haven't won the fight,
you win big.
Then you win during global.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's a
mean-
backup plan, Winter. Plan A, B,
10
and I'm
seconds
working on
remaining.
C.
And what happens when the Chrono misses? Global's not going to miss. Right.
Yeah. I don't know, Pilot Dies
remaining.
missed a few globals.
I
Reserve
just figured
time.
someone should respond, so I just said yeah.
CDC, this is what we talked about. They're stubborn and they're one-dimensional.
Yeah, stubborn and one-dimensional. That was our
Three
cons
void
for
games.
CDEC.
But then they open up with the exact same after this game.
It worked
won.
though. I mean, and stick with what works.
But they're also fast. So what can they pick that's fast? Weaver was pretty fast.
Let's
Last
see.
game. Huh?
Enchantress, highest move speed.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
has the highest move speed in game.
Chaos Knight is fast.
Yeah.
Team secrets.
Who has the
Turn to
fastest
ban.
animation for like spell
Rubik.
casting?
Every spell he steals with ult has 1 millisecond. Is it? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm derailing this draft.
10
Oh, there's a
seconds
draft.
remaining.
Continue as you were, Cinderin.
No, I think CDC just need to be careful not to
5
fall into the same
seconds
trap again, because they
remaining.
might feel like, oh, but this time we know what went wrong last game. We can pick more team fight and we can fight them head on. I still don't think you fight head on into a lineup
Reserve
with
time.
Invoker Enigma Tide. It's just too difficult.
Well, are people
So-
scared of just like playing? Is this the meta? Is this what we're going to see in other games as well? Like people just going, let's pick how much team fight we have, or you know, is like surely Alliance are like, no, let's split push
I think-
and be annoying.
It's gonna be dependent on series. Like every series has their own like, because different teams prioritize in picking different heroes. Because everyone is good at different heroes. So I think we'll see a shift between teams. Like every team has their. Obviously, there are gonna be a few heroes that everyone plays,
CDEC.
but there are
Turn
gonna
to
be
ban.
a difference between how the teams run it.
Where do you want CDEC to go with this? Couch number 2
Oh, we
and Winter. Your
Couch-
couch number 1.
Couch
Oh.
number 1. Oh, I didn't know we have numbers here.
I just gave
10 seconds remaining.
I think team fight, like what we mentioned, like both
5
teams will
seconds
prioritize in a lot of
remaining.
team fight, despite Synderen matching. Oh, you're not gonna be able to fight into Invoker, Enigma, and
Reserve
Tide. So maybe
time.
the first step is to remove the Tide first, because Tide is really good versus Void, and they're taking a long time.
Yeah. I'm kind of most curious to see what aggressive's going to be playing, because I think that's going to decide a lot of how CDC play. If they're going to play, like their timing windows reliant on probably him more. Like you go to game 1, he's playing a Sven and waiting. Like he played a lot. It was a lot much later timing, but they can also get something more early game centric. The gyrocopter's out the window, but there's kind of other options they can look to go for, and they're going to go for the Clinks here. So I think
Team
this is much more
secrets. Turn
early
to
game
pick.
focused than the Sven, for example, because Clinks doesn't need as many items to
Yes.
to get active.
So I
Very good synergy with
So I
Void.
guess the Slada ban was just because things is weak against Slada
Yeah.
because of the M damage. Even though we think that the
Hmm.
Tide would fit their lineup better.
I think Secret might just pick Tide, but this is a good hero in lane against Tide. Clinks does very well in that matchup one-on-one.
It's still it's not going to be. It'd be a 2-on-1 anyway. So they still have their support open,
10
so they
seconds
they can either
remaining.
run an Alina there or get like a Witch Door or something, and feel they can zone a
5
Tide.
seconds
And this is
remaining.
aggressive on Clinks.
Yeah,
Most likely.
most likely, yeah.
I kind of don't want to see them do
Reserve
the
time.
mid void again against the
I agree.
Invoker.
Yeah.
I think then if you have an Enigma, you need a carry that can do really well against the Void in a straight matchup with just one other support. We saw Ursa get banned out earlier by I can't remember which team.
CDC.
Yeah, but I think it's really good against the Void because the Fury swipes carry over.
Yep.
And it gives you really early Roshan potential with Invoker plus Enigma.
And the Void like offlane becomes so easy when your opponents have Enigma because it's like there's 2 heroes there
Yeah.
at most. So if anything, it should be like a dream offlane game when you see an Enigma.
Lion.
Line is probably one of the
CDEC.
better
Turn to
solo
pick.
supports in this situation then.
Yeah.
If you have to play
But it's hard to zone Void as Lion though. You can't really, because you don't have anything that's, you have a lot of disable. Can actually, you do damage and he can't really backtrack off it. But you can't really like harass him a lot because you don't have any damage over time.
It's
think
not
you
good for the lane, it's good for the game.
Yeah,
good
but
for the game, yeah.
if you just like stack and pull, get level 3,
Mhm.
then you pick some carry like Ursa or something along those lines that can just burst
10
them down
seconds
during the
remaining.
disable time, it's okay. Because then the Void will just respect.
5 seconds
So you
remaining.
basically need a carry that is self-sustainable. You don't really
Yeah.
need the support there in the lane too much.
Reserve time.
Picks like that anyways. They usually pick Envy a hero that he can just
Mhm.
go and do whatever he wants with.
So and for CDEC, they're probably still deciding whether the Lina should be a support here. That's the biggest question. Or the Lina would be mid. So
Team
the Stalker
secrets.
would
Turn to
most likely
pick.
be the position 4 with the Iron Talon. We see there's a lot doing MDL, jungling and getting like what minute 21, minute 22 Aghanims for his team. So it gives the Void a lot of vision, and it means that it's easier to actually get the Chronos off.
They seem like a really quite scary team here, CDEC. In terms of if they get any kind of momentum, it's going to be hard to stop.
Yeah, fast pace. They take control of the map and
Yeah.
they
10
suffocate you because of
seconds
Night
remaining.
Stalker.
The Night Stalker synergizes really well with the rest of their heroes because you've got it
CDEC.
can give vision
Turn
to
to
the Void
ban.
to get a good Chronosphere off, Lina to get pickoffs, and you can see the Enigma coming in as well
And-
with the Black Hole.
And I think as well, like even if they are putting fear into Team Secret, sure they've got this nice kind of team fight lineup. They can also kind of pose and just never team fight
10
unless they just want to get
seconds
ahead and farm.
Pick the
Because
fights
they
that they
actually
want
have
to.
like Night Stalker scales great. Clink's obviously
5
amazing.
seconds remaining.
Lina as well. So they almost seem a little bit Like they have the late game advantage, would you say,
Reserve
for
time.
CDC?
Yeah, and it's very multi-dimensional because they can not just teamfight but find pickoffs. Like Night
Yeah.
Stalker, Clinks, and Lena. These heroes can just go off and like two-man gank squads, find a kill on an Invoker's trying to split push. So it forces Secret to play 5-man, and then CDC.
And then they can decide if they want to take the
Yeah.
5-man or avoid it.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Last time they had no. In the sound story. Most importantly, vision is so important when you're playing against heroes like Enigma plus Side Hunter. Always wanted to battle how you're going to fight. That the Night Stalker really limit the ability to
10
secrets.
seconds remaining.
Really hard for them to fight.
I still think it's very, very difficult for CDC to take these fights. Like, I think you're saying they have to pick their fight. At some point, they're going to have to take it.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they're ready for it. To me, Night Stalker's biggest weakness is teamfight lineups. If you can force him to teamfight and you don't get the skirmish setup, it's very, very difficult for Night Stalker to
10
have
seconds remaining.
his impact, which, you know, he
Okay.
excels at those smaller fights throughout the
5
game.
seconds
So how do you
remaining.
want CDC to round off their lineup? I mean,
I think they can't just allow Secret
Turn
to
to pick.
farm up a 14-minute Greaves on Enigma again, because
Yeah.
then I think they just lose the game minute 20. They just push them, and CDC can't teamfight. They're not strong enough. I really don't think so. So either, again, full emphasis on the early game, put the Lena mid, get a roaming support with Night Stalker, and put pressure on the lanes, or you need
Man, this
really
is my
heavy
pubs.
split push like
you just
Prophet.
you just like pick a jungle Legion commander and fight greed with greed. You've got that last player's like, I'm not playing support. They've got a jungle. I'm
10
Do you
seconds
like that
remaining.
Visage as a greedy support? So that when the Clinks roam, you can actually
This
farm.
Yeah.
is interesting.
Well,
I think
Q
Prophet
plays an
is-
amazing, and he plays it like
out of
very
question.
different with the arcane boots in mech, and they don't really have
Reserve
they don't have a
time.
mech hero yet. So they
Get
want
someone so they can push towers themselves early, so they can trade evenly.
disruptor though.
So it's just
This
team
is some
fight.
team
They're
fight.
going for
Team
team
fight.
fight.
Structure's really getting inside.
oh dear.
See, they banned
Team
last ban
fight.
Ursa.
It's just team fight.
Yeah.
It's like never gonna get that.
Yeah, but it's still like Secret still has like the Spectre to round their lineup up, which means more team fight. It's just all about the team fights that they want to have.
Okay, couch number 2. You have to agree with each other because getting bored of asking all 4 of you. And this is the first series, so you have to agree who's going to take it.
And you said CDEC at the start. I said Secret, so I don't know. Have you been swayed to my side yet? Come on, Will. Do it. Secret here.
I think Secret can actually. I'd be more inclined to switch to your side than try to convince you to go line.
Nice. All
But
right.
I
Team
still
Secret.
think CDEC is gonna caveat there, but
All right.
we'll go.
Well,
we'll
now
do
if
the
you're
Secret
right,
couch.
you're right. If you're wrong, then
Yeah.
you were right at the start. So
Yeah,
either way,
exactly.
you win.
So you're Secret over on
Yep.
couch number 2. Couch number 1, Winter.
I
Take
trust
a
my
moment
roommate.
to talk about
I
it.
trust my roommate. That's all I
So
can
you're
say.
just saying I decide for this
Yeah.
one? I think Secret's. I did say CDC going into the series, but
Prepare
I
for
just
battle.
don't think their drafts in this game and the previous one have been good enough.
All right, well, we'll find out. It looks like we are live, so the commentators will take you from here on in. It's Secret versus CDEC for the first series. This is the final game to decide who will win.
Okay, guys, indeed, game 3 between CDEC and Secret, and
Look
what a
at this,
series
man.
it has been so far. And what are you seeing, Andy, already? What's going on?
How'll I die with the smoke break? That was actually
Alright.
so nice.
Feel they can fun. And we were talking about this in the draft. Q on the Disruptor. Is that the answer to what Secret were pulling out in game 2 with the Tide and the Enigma?
It's really good if you can count the tide. Like, most of the time, the way that
30
Secret want to take team
seconds to
fights, they want to
battle.
be very compact. They want to fight around Black Hole and Ravage. Obviously, they have the Spectre Haunt to follow that up. Disruptor is one of the few heroes in the game who can just stop a Tide from casting while he's taking damage, because Static Storm is an area of effect debuff that's basically applied to you every second or like however many seconds it lasts, which means that if he gets caught inside of a kinetic field in a Static Storm, he can be killed before he ults, which is a really nice thing to have. Also helps secure the laning phase, gives him pretty good roam actually. Disruptor and Lena
The
together,
battle begins.
like if the Disruptor roams for mid, then you can very easily get a kill with that as well. Thunderstrike, Glimpse, Cage, probably a dead hero. Same thing could be said with the Night Stalker and the Disruptor roaming around together. And plus the vision that you gain with Night Stalker and the Disruptor during nighttime has great synergy, because Night Stalker has ridiculous vision once he gets eggs.
And of course, Envy bringing out the Spectre this match. We were talking about potential position 1's heroes for the guy this game, and Spectre not necessarily one that we came up with. Why do you feel Secrets felt that this is a game for a Spec?
Well, I think Winter set up. They're just doing everything based around the team fight potential. I was thinking more along the lines they might go like a Sven or a Lycan just to give them even more push to allow themselves to just go high ground sooner. But if you're winning the game,
Oh, is that? Look at that.
oh, that is painful. That did
Oh.
That's-
Oh.
As far as the safe lane hero for this game goes, I think that Spectre is more than okay. It's not that I don't think it's a bad pick. It's just a different mentality. Instead of going for the win, you're guaranteeing that if your lineup functions well during the first 20 to 25 minutes of the game, you're going to be so far ahead that a Spectre is going to seem terrifying to ever try to fight into. And those supports, like the support Disruptor, for example, and even a core Lina, actually have a pretty hard time dealing with late game Spectre because the hero's just in your face all the time. You paunt and it becomes very annoying for you.
And the lanes, we've seen them kind of switch around each game. A lot of kind of aggressive tri-lanes and such coming out in each game 1 and game 2. And now in game 3, we're seeing a bit more orthodox Misery. He's going to have to deal with this tri-lane here on the top lane. Now, of course, on the Tide. And one thing that we didn't really mention ourselves, but was in game 2, we were talking about Puppy a lot with the Black Holes, but a lot of it was indeed down to Misery's Ravage. He had quite a game in game 2 on the Tide Hunter. And I'm interested to see if they can go for a repeat performance this game. And we already mentioned the Disruptor way of dealing with it. Do you feel that CDC with their draft and their lineup, they do just have a better overall way of dealing with the playstyle that Secret went for in game 2?
Certainly better than last games. Yeah, the Weaver and the Razor just did nothing during that game. At the laning phase, it's like 10 minutes in, heroes just don't have enough farm. Like, the Weaver needed another item on top of his Lincolns, which could be anywhere from like 3,500 for a Deso to, you know, whatever he would want to go
Misery! Oh no! God, I might just catch him out here. Misery was going for a bit of a cheeky farm there on the sidefall, but oh no, pays with first blood to the Night Stalker. Oh, look, that's got to be painful there. Just a little bit unfortunate. God, I could sneak him out.
That's very nice. He realizes that this lane is much harder for the Tide than the previous lane. Like, even though it was Razor versus Tide, Misery ended up doing very well in that matchup, but this time around it's not going to be so easy for him. And this is one of the things, too, that you can do to punish an Enigma. Like, last game, it really felt the Enigma was one of the saving graces along with Misery's Tide, as you said, but you can actually do things to punish the greed this time around, which is probably the biggest difference between the two drafts. In the previous game, they were just sitting in the lane. They had the Enchantress up there, like Q was just killing Envy over and over, but killing Envy didn't matter. It was more about just stopping the offlaner and the jungler from getting complete and total free farm, but this time they're going to be able to punish a little bit harder.
Of course, aggressive this time on the Clinks. We saw Envy's Clinks in game 2. Didn't have a great start, made a great recovery though. This time aggressive is getting more than enough space. So we're going to see the power of the Clinks with a good start straight off the bat. As you said, yeah, the lane's being kind of compromised because of this Enigma, but at the same time, if you're ever going to compromise your lanes for Enigma, I think you'd be quite happy to do it for a Puppy Enigma.
Yeah, he's probably... Is there any Enigma better than Puppy? I don't know if there is, because he's pretty much the guy who's played this hero since God knows when. Even back in Dota 1, this was a hero that he was known for, so... He knows the hero in and out, and I'm assuming he realizes he's getting leeched from Rao, because he's not going to go up that ramp, he's going to send that conversions first. But, you know, Garter, he's just doing his thing. He's pretty much acting like a bounty hunter here.
Pi's going to come in and look for control. They have got, of course, Puppy's coming around for this one. Oh, they're trying to buy some space and time. Talking about time dilation comes out from XZ. Going to stop the line from being able to control either of them anymore. So Puppy, they did move over. I didn't get there in time to follow up. Giving Envy a bit of space down at the bottom. 19 for 4 at the moment on this Spectre. XZ not being too much of an issue for him, but at the same time, XZ is getting a decent amount of last hits on the offlane Void, of course.
And just these little rotations, like forcing reactions out of the supports, making Puppy stop farming. Keep in mind, at this time last game, Puppy was pretty much almost level 6, right? Like he's level 4 right now. He had an extremely uninterrupted jungle in the last match. He only went to get, I think it was 1 bounty rune, and then he like auto attacked a couple of times onto Q's Enchantress and he went back. So he's already a little bit behind where he probably wants to be. And with that in mind, it means that the 5-man's not going to be as strong. Pi getting chased here. I don't think that Garter can go for this. It's way too deep.
I mean, talking about the Puppy Enigma, we've seen already with the warding. CDEC just putting a lot more emphasis this game on just trying to control, keep tabs on the Enigma in his jungle. Because they really realise it can be a huge threat for them. But Misery, how's he doing in levels? He has managed to start to find a fair bit of XP. He's now level 4 on the Tide. We saw him have a pretty tough time up here at the beginning. He's finding some stuff, and of course, with that Iron Talon, he can back off and still find that mid lane. There is a bit of a wraparound here. They're trying to catch out Weak, but he's Ghost Warp. Puppy's there as well to help force Sheik back. He's going to be fine with the haste.
It's actually quite surprising they didn't have Dust. Like, Garter has 500 gold right now. He could have easily had Dust on him, and I think they would have killed him. Because there was Laguna. Yeah, he definitely should be dead right now. A little bit of a misplay here from CDEC. Did he just trade for the... Nope, he didn't. Alright, so... Not the most successful rotation. Very, very weird actually that CDC came to that gank not prepared.
Radiant's top tower
Aggressive.
is under
Now starting to get a bit of damage onto this tier 1 top as he will continue to push in. Misery has had to go back to base himself, still sitting on that level 4, so I think the key ults really on the Enigma and the Tide of course aren't going to be coming out at the same speed as in game 2. So nonetheless we know what Secret can and will hope to do with them.
Radiant's
But at this point of the game, the farm still, Spectre, Envy on the bottom lane. He is level 6 now, so he can jump into the fights if they do kick off. And I guess in terms of pick-up potential, they are waiting on these ults pretty much from all of the 3 heroes, the Enigma, the Tidehunter and the Lion before. We can kind of expect to see them go for any action that Envy can kind of hop into to get himself involved in the kill.
It's gonna be really nice because with the teamfight utility that they have, normally Spectre comes to teamfights anyway. That guy is popping on, throwing out daggers.
Oh! Move drive by there from Shiki. Laguna Blade straight down onto the little line. And Envy, he's straight into the trees with the Spectral Dagger.
Yeah, I think he's gonna want to stay there for a little while.
Especially with Xe hitting level 6 with the next creep, so we'll have that Chrono as well. So Envy needs to be very careful here at the moment. He's all on his own. He's going to come back out now. The ping's coming through as we start to see CDC head themselves towards the mid lane. Maybe going to try again for a bit of action onto Wii. Garda does have the dust this time round.
The thing about those types of ganks is when you mess up a gank like that on Invoker, like say Wii dies, you know, that's a big kill that you just didn't get because you didn't buy dust, and there was no reason not to have it because you had the money. So maybe that opportunity to present itself again, like right now, Wii's not going to get ganked, he's just going back. It's a little bit concerning, but CDC making more rotations here, going towards bottom. Ward's going to spot him out though, and he knows what's going down here.
They really want to try and find Envy, but as you said, they know, and CDC knows. Well, the pings came out. They know that Envy's got the vision. They're going to try and find him there. The kinetic field, but it's not going to be the case. Envy's going to be lucky once again, keeping himself alive, playing it very safely. Envy, top lane, aggressive, with the cover of the skeleton walk. It's going to be the level 6 now on to Misery with the next creep wave. This could be when we start to see the game begin to pick up, and Secret maybe looking to try and find some action. In fact, action could be found against them as Garda comes in. Aggressive now reveals himself in Misery. He's covered the Horn, and there's your Ravage. He hits the level 6 just in time, and there's your turnaround. The Earth Spike onto Garda. Secret catching out CDEC when they were the ones looking for the initiation. Great response there with the Horn, and Ravage coming online at just the right time.
When we talk about preparation, Envy even has dust on him. Like, he knew that they were going to be trying to go for team fights, and as long as the Ravage comes out and you have Haunt available, your carry is going to be at every single team fight. The synergy behind this is actually way better than even I thought at the very beginning when I saw it first picked. I was like, oh, it's pretty good. But after seeing it in action, you can see here, like even with the Sunstrike being thrown out, there's just no reaction that's going to be fast enough to stop that. They wanted to go for a kill, they ended up getting 2 wiped off the map in the matter of seconds, so I think they're going to be feeling pretty good about that one. And the other thing about their lineup is because they do have Enigma, Roshan is always going to be quite easy. That happens maybe 1 or 2 more times, you start losing some powers, and
Looking for the Chrono, and he will manage to clip Envy, but here comes the TP for Syria. It doesn't look like it's going to be here in time. Pilot, oh, maybe it is! Envy! Is he going to go down? He will. Aggressive gets the final touch in. Will take him down, and now looking to dive onto Pilot Die. There'll be another TP coming through. They'll get the Hex out onto Aggressive. He's going to back himself out away from the tower. Pilot Die just going for the walk around. Now we turns up. Xe losing mana fast. Will be able to get himself out and away in time before Weehaw can catch him out here. Still CDC, they want to try and fight. Q moving in with Aggressive, Garda and the boys. Xe salving up, going in for the dive, looking for Pilot Die. Weehaw going to hide in the sidelines. They'll get the kill on the line. Weehaw still hiding. Now Misery comes through. Garda's still trying to find Wee. He's hiding in the trees. Should spot him out. He will. They'll throw out a Chaos Meteor, but it doesn't matter. Weehaw on his own. He goes down as well. And some fantastic aggression just being forced out there off from the side of CDC, just ready to stand by that tower. And they knew that whatever Secret threw in, they didn't have the Ravage, they didn't have the Horn, and that was the best time for CDC to look for a fight.
I would actually like to know if Puppy showed himself on the map beforehand. I think he did, actually. And maybe they just saw the fact that he didn't have a teleport scroll and they just wanted to go for the dive, because this was very, very aggressive for DC. And as you said, they knew that there was no Ravage on cooldown. It's not really a hard dive to make when you know that those 2 spells, very long cooldowns, are not going to be available, but Also realizing that Puppy probably couldn't come to the team fight either just means that for CDEC that was a very easy decision to make.
And the fact that, of course, they had the disruptor there, they knew that they could send someone back to base, and of course, as we saw, it was at the tide, they just sent Misery straight back. I think even if they kind of kept him there, they could probably maybe even have found the kill on that as well because he didn't have the Ravage. But making the job a little bit easier and allowing them to make sure that they got that big kill on Weehar's Invoker. I imagine he did manage to pick up the Midas before he went down and managed to use it because he was very close to having that gold. So if that kill on him came a little bit earlier, that could have been a lot more painful for Secret. CDEC now leading the game 5-2. And it's all going to be down to Puppy. Game 1, we saw a little bit of a rocky start being turned around by the big black hole contribution from Puppy. See if he's going to be able to do it again this game. And been focusing on farming the Ancients for the time being, the Enigma.
Now, this game's going to be a bit different too because CDC actually have a tremendous amount of damage, where it felt like last game they were kind of lacking the damage output in some categories. Like Weaver doesn't really do that much because he needs a lot of items, and Razor is kind of the same because he needs time for Static Link to really start dealing damage for him. And bottom lane, Pi.
Pi going in, Chrono straight up, and that's the kill online. The Ravage will come through. It's only going to catch out Aggressive, but that's the big kill. They'll take the Clinks in return. And I get they'll be happy with that one. They did cost them the Ravage, but that's a kill on your Clinks.
That is definitely a worth, and that means that Envy is going to secure his urn now too. He's going to continue to look to fight. As long as they have one ultimate off cooldown, regardless of whether it's Black Hole or Ravage, I think they're going to continually be looking for pressure here.
Oh, Puppy, straight up caught out there by Shiki, but he doesn't quite have the burst to deal with Puppy. Oh, now he turns around. That was smooth.
Lens, man.
Backs off, he says, I got this one, guys. Q, getting the glimpse back onto Weeha, drops the Static Storm. Shiki, with this double damage, just ripping through Secret. He's got himself a double kill. With the Anchor Smash, with the else support back. Shiki loses some of the damage. The finger coming out to Garda. Garda can get back to the high ground. Puppy with the Eidolons. He'll get the kill. It's a 2-for-2. Misery, he'll fall as well, though. Triple kill for Shiki. That double damage pretty much making the fight for CDEC, but Secret, they go down without one and take 2 in return.
Bad. Misery didn't even pick up the regen. That actually makes it so much worse. Like, it sounds like a small thing, but we'll get a chance to watch this one more time. Like, Puppy, it looks like he's walking too far away, right? But I didn't see he had Ether Lens in his inventory, so I was like, wait, why is he walking away? But all things considered, CDC are going to be quite happy with this turn of events. And the fact that Shiki doesn't even have to go back to base. Like, he's up to 1,700 gold now for that engagement. I assume he's just going straight for the Yules. Yeah, he's got the Staff of Wizardry in his inventory. This also opens up a really big opportunity for CDEC to go Roche. Like, all tier 1s are dead. This is the point in the game where Secret now have to try to make some kind of counterplay. They have Ravage up in about a minute, and I think Haunt is a little bit less than that. Yeah, it's about 30 seconds cooldown difference, so they have a little bit of a window here. They want to go for this Roshan. They got a little bit of time, and I think Secret, like, they almost have to contest this, right? Like, they can maybe counter push tier 1 mid, but giving them this kind of advantage this early, when you have the advantage in team fight and you're losing team fights against a team who has better rotations, better way of controlling the map once they are ahead, which definitely are, they're against Night Stalker, you're against Clinks with Disruptor as well, so you can get picked so easily.
It looks like CDC are going to get away with this, as you're saying.
They're not going to go.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with this. They do lose the tier 1 mid, but trade that CDC will be more than happy to take. And he's going to go the way of Aggressive, and of course now with that he should be very close to Dessa. Yeah, he's just about 300 gold away from picking up the Desolator as well here on the Clinks.
The big question is, what do Secret want to do? Is this just a warding smoke, or are they actually looking for a fight? They do have everything up, pretty much. The only thing they're missing is Finger, and to be honest, if they land their ultimates properly, Finger is probably not the most important spell to worry about. Because a Meteor from Wii will, like, clean up everyone inside of the Ravage or the Black Hole at this point. And they're just waiting things out here. Envy's gonna show, and he just blatantly broke smoke, so I don't think they're looking to fight. They just want to try to get something here.
And CDC did also go for that smoke, as we saw in Secret's jungle. Both teams inadvertently avoiding each other. There's going to be the space for Secret to take this tier 1 top, but the trade is going to be looked for by CDC. They'll look for the tier 2 in the mid lane. We'll start to see some TPs coming back. It's going to be Puppy leading the way. We'll see if they can find any way to stop this push. Any for the illusion. And to catch out what Secret are looking for in terms of a jump in. Misery. And the Blink Dagger just coming out right now in the courier. Oh no, it's the drum, sorry. Okay. Going for that drum build that we did see, of course, in the last week. We don't have Blink Initiation, but they do have the Horn to lead in. Emily will pop it. CDC straight away beginning to scatter. They'll put the Spectral Dagger onto Shiki. players one carefully. Misery has been silenced up. The static storm comes out. We know he can get himself out just in time. Garda falling low. Can they get the kill on the right to give with her? But the first casualty, XE, lovely Chrono onto 3. Aggressive trying to get the damage out of the Ravage is there from Misery. XE's going to fall as well. 2 down on CDC. They've got the dodge. The Hex onto Aggressive. The fingers there. Clicks trying to run, trying to hide. He'll go down. That's the Aegis pop. Can Secret in for a second time. Still hanging around, see if he can save the Klings, but there's really no way down. He gets on a lovely light strike, will bring down Puppey, but they lose Aggressive on Klings. So a 3-for-1, including the Aegis being taken out of the hands of the Klings. Big fight there for Secret, and well, they didn't even need to use the Black Hole.
The coordination there from CDC wasn't really on point. Like, the fight was very split up at the start, and we'll get an opportunity to actually watch it. But if you watch what XE does after they start walking up to the side here, like, they're all chasing onto the Lina. And then they try to go for a sphere where basically there's no follow-up damage. Like, it hits people behind the tower. All in all, it didn't really work out for them. No one was there to actually deal any damage. And the Static Storm was also dropped in such a defensive way that they didn't even have that when the sphere came out. So he throws out a sphere, auto-attacks like 2 or 3 times with just a Vlad's in his inventory, and he's like, oh, I don't do any damage on my own. I actually need my team. At that point, it's already over. Secret just a little bit too strong there in that engagement. And he's closing in on his Guardian Greaves as well. He's got the Mech and Arcanes already finished. And once that happens, I'd actually say that the Secret are going to be feeling pretty good. Like, that Roshan was supposed to cure CDEC map control for quite a long time. When you're playing with Night Stalker and you have the advantage, and it's also going to be nighttime in a couple of minutes, you have full map control. Secret felt incredibly scared to try to do anything there, but as soon as they see the team spread out, it's just immediately in their favor.
Okay, smoke time on the side of Secret. I think Puppey, he said we're 17 minutes into the game. I haven't had a chance to really get up a big one here with the Black Hole, and he wants to use it. Lead in here at the moment from Mystery, pilot down Weeha. Looks like they'll find Garda in the jungle, and they'll go for the pick off straight in. No way for the bad at that one. And down NS, and off the back of that, they'll look for a push themselves in the mid lane. They lost the tier 2 about a minute or so ago, and this time they're going to try and take the tier 2 back. As we can see, big ults coming back off cooldown here from both sides. The question is, can CDC really try and do anything about this? They've got the Static Storm, 15 seconds without the Night Stalker. They're eyeing this one up, but it's going to be a hefty push to try and stop Shiki moving forward. Got the 6 sidelines out. XE on the back lines with Aggressive. I think they're aware that something's going on and they're playing this safe. They just send the minions in to push, and they themselves, keeping themselves away from any kind of danger that CDC might throw at them in defense.
It's a little bit scary right now because they don't actually know how close the Void is to Blink. XC's at 1500, so he could have Blink anywhere from now in the next, like, 3 to 5 minutes, give or take, depending on how quickly he farms. Once they get that, I think that taking the team fight is going to be way easier, because as soon as you get that Blink sphere, you allow the Static Storm to come in almost every single time. And you can even overlap if you want. If you know you're going to get the kills, you just drop it on Misery or Puppey and you just get those kills. And unlike the previous games where we saw that there were heroes who have saves, like when he had the Dazzle before and the OD, this game has no saves for those heroes. So you get a sphere into a Static Storm, they should die pretty much every single time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Top lane. Like, it's just going to be a bit of a trade here once again. Secret on the tier 2 top. Be already ready with EP back. And the tier 2 here on the bottom. Can they do anything here in time? Misery moving forward. Looks like they may think about fighting. They've got all the ultimates, but at the same time, so does CDEC. Great. Being kept back here, and Garda now will summon up the nighttime. XE moving forward with the take someone from Misery. Danger Chrono onto 3 on the back line. They focus onto Puppey, bring down the Enigma. They found Misery as well on the side. There's 2 hours now before they can get the ult off. Envy silenced up. It's the 3rd kill there for CDEC. And XE there with the big Chronos when his team needs it. And that is the kind of stuff that turns the game on its head.
Has this guy actually hit less than 3 heroes with a Chronosphere? Like, in this entire series? I mean, I know he's played it every single game, but it really feels like he always hits, like, the perfect sphere exactly when they need it. And the coordination there was sick, and he didn't even have Blink. Like, he did that without Blink Dagger.
Want to buy back on Misery. Secret, they're going to try and force this fight here. They're going to potentially use Pilot Dice, falling low. CDC moving forward. They want to try and finish up the line. Look at the damage from Aggressive ripping through Wee. Only just able to survive. Misery coming in again. Goes in the moment. Puppy is going to be back on the pitch now here on the Enigma. Misery moving forward. He wants to find the Ravage. He's going to find it. Garda trying to TP out straight in front of the Tidehunter. He'll cancel TP on the Night Stalker, but he's linked back onto the Misery. Envy now coming in, jumping straight forward on Garda with the Spectral Dagger. Looking for the Night Stalker kill. Will find it. They'll be able to get aggressive here as well. But looks a bit, yes, they've got the dust. They'll get that one too. 2 heroes down on CDC. Did cost the buyback there on the Tidehunter. The base is defended.
Yeah, I think it was worth it. I think maybe if Envy was a little bit faster, he might have been able to get an extra kill as well, because his haunt was still going for, I think, 1 more second, and he might have been able to chase down the Void, who is currently jungling right now, because he didn't have mana for a time walk. But at the beginning of this fight, you see the static storm.
Look at that Chrono.
And how incredible that Chrono was. Like, 3 heroes, couple on the edge. It puts Envy in such a bad position as well, that there's just no way that Seeker can take that fight anymore. Like, as soon as your carry's dead, you have no Ravage. There's no salvaging that, just game. But you can see that they defend pretty much only because they have Glyph, and the Ravage ends up equalizing an otherwise pretty bad fight. But all in all, I would say that CDC dealt a pretty good amount of damage there.
As we saw, very nearly got the kill onto the Void as well. The Sunstruck just a little bit off the point there from Weeha. But nonetheless, I mean, Game 3, I kind of expected it after seeing both teams have a pretty strong, stellar performance, respectively. Game 1, of course, was CDC, and Game 2 from Secret. Game 3 so far, it'll be a close one, Andy.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you want to see, though, right? Like, the first game was a little bit stompy, I'll admit, but I think it was a little bit of a draft issue. And then the next game, it's kind of like the other way. One team does pretty well, and now it's just an even game. This is like the dream best-of-3 series, right?
Absolutely. And, so some big items are coming out, as we can see. Aggressive. He is going to have that PKB pretty shortly ready for the next fight. The Night Stalker Agonims is just only about 1,000 gold away for Garden. You talked about it earlier, just the synergy of having that vision, the disruptor. The catch-out potential is going to be huge. Even just things like sending back heroes that are looking for that initiation with the big ultimates like Puppy's Enigma, like Misery's Tide. Talking about Puppy on the Enigma, that's your Guardian Greaves done. Ready for the next fight as well.
It's a really big item for him, mainly because you can dispel yourself. So if the Stalker ever throws a silence on you, you can just pop it off. Obviously, being able to save teammates would be nice too. It's not really super useful at this stage in the game in terms of dealing with burst, because Shiki has Agonims. So level 2 Laguna Blade, 650 pure, plus the rest of the damage that, you know, Aggressive and everyone can do. Kinda not really lost all of its potency, but the dispel is very nice. And Grit, they're looking for an opportunity here. Smoked up, they got the Yule's combo. We actually, as very interesting spells loaded here.
Oh, actually he's in the Roche pit. He's going to want to get out, and he will. He'll pop the horn here to get the vision. Envy jumping straight forward with the Spectral Dagger. The Gush will be thrown out, but Exy Time walks himself away.
This is a front BKB. I think CDC want to go. They go really fast, they might be able to catch it, but they have to be very decisive. They were kind of walking around for a few seconds.
Yeah, they've got to get themselves over there quickly, as you said. They know that Haunt's down. The rest of the ult's still up for the side of Secret, and Secret themselves, they know that CDC is going to want to look for this one. They're not going to fully commit to the Roche at the moment. They're hanging out at the side, scanning out themselves. They'll now see Forge Spirit. The CDC are jumping in, and it looks like CDC are going to potentially try and start to go for it themselves.
Yeah, they can go for this.
Black Hole and Ravage are there. CDC, they've got to be careful with their positioning. 3 are in the pit at the moment, and Misery's just going to jump straight in. Gets off the Ravage. Few will be bursted down. The Static Storm getting popped up, but Puppy can't find the Black Hole. They find them looking off the line, but it's a double kill for Weeha. This fight going incredibly well for the side of Secret so far. Aggressive pops the BKB, but the damage from Envy, it's not going to be enough, and there's the Black Hole. Puppy saves himself, takes down 2, bringing in XD, bringing in Aggressive, 4 dead on CDC, and Secret returns to the pit to clean up Roche and grab themselves the Aegis.
That was very nicely done. Like, they just split them apart again. It seems like every single time they go into a team fight and they're not all coordinated, it's just a disaster. Like, at the beginning of this fight, Ravage comes through, then you pretty much just lose a hero straight away. He has to drop Static Storm in a very suboptimal way. And the Laguna was used on the Lion, and he ends up trading his own life, like a Lion for a Lean at this stage, when that was a wicked 6-week from Shiki.
Look at it, this one is trying to keep, and the Greaves, just at the time, coming out, keeping Puppy alive, and gets off that Black Hole. We may not have seen as many this game as we saw in Game 2, and arguably this one is a harder matchup considering the heroes that CDC have got, but still Puppy manages to bring out the big guns just when it's needed.
Difference in initiation, really. That's what it boils down to. The contrast between the fight and that pit, and how it opened by just it being a Ravage instead of getting jumped on by a Sphere and a Disruptor ulti, that's going to be how the dynamic goes in an actual team fight. Now, if CDEC get good fight going and actually get ahead and can hold map control with the Night Stalker, then the way the game is played changes a little bit. But as long as it's just brawl 5 versus 5, Secret are going to have the advantage as long as they don't get caught out by that like gigantic spear that XE has been throwing out.
In terms of kind of items now for CDC, you saw that, I mean, even with the BKB, aggressive was, you know, once a few of his teammates are down, he just can't do enough on his own. He does need to have someone go in and get the catch. And I think the one thing that you keep touching on about, and I think it's very relevant to the fact that they can't seem to find it, is the fact that these static storms, each and every time, they're having to be thrown out defensively. We've not seen the Disruptor really find a huge catch.
It was just Misery bottom. That was the only time. Because he got a glimpse into a static storm that ended up resulting in him having to buy back. That was when they were defending bottom. But outside of that, yeah, it's tough. I mean, when you smoke up as a Secret, or you know, you want to try to reinitiate and the enemy team doesn't have proper vision, one good ultimate like a Ravage or a Black Hole feel the fight. You know, just right away. You just don't have a chance to do anything after that, and the damage is pretty much already dealt. So in these types of high stress situations, it's usually better to try to go for the jump as long as you know who you're going for first. And like Secret want to continue this trend. They're gonna smoke up, go into the enemy woods. Maybe some warding gonna happen here. Probably only has sentries on him right now, so.
Oh, aggressive. They'll be happy with this kill. Sentry getting up there to the Hex up in time and haunting it as well. There's your dust. Yeah, people will be probably aggressive. Maybe look for the turnaround, but the Manta's done on Envy. Comes out the Sunstrike on point. Aggressive. Could he get himself up? Just manages to get himself back up to the high ground. He will live.
Oh,
I'm not quite sure how he got away there, but he managed it, Andy.
That was actually a really good play and then a misplay at the same time. Like, Pi sees a smoke break. He drops the sentry, he was a little bit slow, and he throws out a Hex and then misses his stun. So he hexed him, missed the stun, and then they run away from Shiki, or not Shiki, they run away from aggressive thinking that they're not going to be able to kill him because of BKB, but Sunstrike goes through BKB. So one Anchor Smash or one auto attacker, anything would have killed him. But they just didn't think they had the damage, so they just walked away. That was, pretty lucky.
Aggressive's going to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, he's going to be pleased with that.
That's all I got. Game continues to be close as ever.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure, maybe he didn't have mana actually, maybe Pi didn't have mana for Finger, but his Finger's still up, which means that they definitely could have killed him. And that kill would have been huge. That opens up racks. Like there's tier 3 towers that you can actually hit there. Maybe even force a buyback.
So I'm just going to be smoking for CDC, but the ward was there. Aware that CDC are on their way up.
Yeah, this is really good for Secret, I see it. They're going to do the same thing.
Looks to try and break it with the Ghost Walk.
Yeah. Okay, there it is.
Oh, we have it. We know
And
you're
then
there,
they're
boys.
like, well,
we know you're there.
We've been bamboozled.
Dust, a little bit off the point here, because he's going to play it smart. Doesn't go straight into the middle of them all. Puppy, he wants to use that Black Hole Weehaw. He's going to head up. And they get the catch out. There's the setup. Misery walking in. Ravage onto 3. Sunstrike coming down to Shiki. There's your first kill. The static from again getting thrown out. Groupstage up a couple of minutes. Just quite out Weehaw. He gets himself up. Puppy with the Black Hole. Onto aggressive. He's got the BKB. He's stopping some of the damage from other sources. Now the Chrono from XE does manage to catch him out. Aggressive says, I've got this, guys. No, you haven't. You need to get up out of there, son. Gush onto XE. XE tries to get himself back to base. Now comes the horn. XE time walks back up. It's a triple kill for Weehaw. He picks off Garner on the Night Stalk on the sidelines. Aggressive will keep himself alive, but 3 dead. Going to cause a buyback here on the Lina. And we need to try and defend this one. Secret ready to try and break the high ground. Saw CDC try to unsuccessfully do this on the bottom lane earlier. Let's see if Secret have a bit more success here in the mid lane. And have Disruptor back up in 5 seconds, but he doesn't have the ultimate. It's going to be a hard defense for them. Of course, Chronosphere on cooldown after that last fight. Secret might just get the space to go for this. Is he jumping in, getting the time dilation onto them all, but with Reeves, Secret just so tanky with this push, and so they should be able to finish off themselves a full set of racks here in the middle. In fact, I might even try and find some more action. Misery blinks in, getting the space there for Envy to finish that off, and managed to find themselves a set of racks. Envy?
I was going to say, it looked like he DC'd there for a second. He just stopped. Okay, but that was a really, really good Ravage for Misery. Like, the timing with the Tornado lift was perfect. Because it was 4 points in the cross with Aghanim as well. So he had to time that absolutely flawless to hit the Ravage in the fashion that he did. And also realizing that going for Shiki was the best target. You know, just going for the core right away, blowing him up, resulting in pretty much going for the 2 set of racks that we just saw drop there. So, very nicely done from Secret. It seemed a little bit hit or miss for a while. And again, this game boiled down to who's had the better initiation thus far, but we also have to not discredit the ward that saw the smoke in the first place.
Absolutely.
That was
and
key.
just as it was expiring as well.
Yeah.
Very close. I think we've got to mention Weehaw. It's not really any news, but this man's pretty good on the Invoker. He is
Not
having
bad.
An absolute game.
Not bad.
Absolute game. Top of the net worth, 18,500 here on the man. And I mean, as you said, Misery following up, but he's got his Weehaw with the setups each and every time, allowing Misery to blink himself into position, getting his multi-bounce. Just casual Sunstrike there. He's on top of it.
That's the ICU.
That's the 8K Sunstrike.
Yep. But this is a really rough situation now for CDEC. The Spectre is kind of getting out of hand. We haven't really talked much about Envy, but he's always been contributing to the fights, you know. He's been carrying dust. He's always there when he needs to be. And then when he's just off doing his own thing, farming, the rest of his team is pressured away that they can't realistically go for him ever. Because every single time he's showing himself on the map somewhere else, you have like Puppy and Misery and everyone else just pushing down a lane and, you know, hitting towers, making CDEC respond to them. And if you don't come back and you only kill one, then, you know, Envy at this stage in the game is probably going to start saving for buyback, so he can just buy back Haunt. They want to go for high ground because that's realistically one of the best ways to break base as Spectre, is just to have 2 lives, only use your Haunt when you buy back to the side. But you basically have an Aegis, it just costs money.
Now, what do you think about Flink's obviously with his items, deciding to go for the Diffusal this game aggressive?
Diffusal is actually, I think, a bit of an underrated item, mainly because it doesn't have a cooldown. It makes it very easy to dispel things like Hex, for example. If they want to go for Shiki, you can just dispel it. And then if you want to try to chase somebody down, since he doesn't really have a tremendous amount of lockdown outside of just like blowing somebody up in a spear, it's nice to have for chase. And the other thing too is you can just dispel dust.
Oh, this could be a big. There's the Haunt, there's the Vision. They know they're grouped up. They've backed themselves away. Envy gets the chance to Q. The finger being thrown down onto Garden. Night Stalker going to be the first to pop. Q as well. 2 kills there for the side of Secret. They didn't even need the Ravage, they didn't need the Black Hole, just the Haunt to lead in, and jumping in with the Diffusal Blade slows coming out from the Spectre. Envy with the control, and now they're going to go for a second lane of Rax here. They're going to go for the tier 3 CDC with 2 heroes down, neither with buyback available. Secret running past these sentries. Oh, Ice Wall from Wee. BKB coming out, aggressive, trying to turn and fight there with the damage from the Deso. Oh, Envy, he's just going to go straight back in. XP Chrono onto Puppy. Dress is still hanging around, with the Earthspike from the sidelines, Highlighter controlling the board in the credit. There's your Ravage, on to 3, Misery, 2 dead, it's a double kill for Envy. We are blinking up to the high ground, they'll find themselves a third, triple kill for Envy on the Spectre. 3 heroes dead on CDC for roughly 50 seconds, no buyback, this EG, and Secret did it. After what looked like an abysmal Game 1, Game 2 they stepped it up, and Game 3 they stepped it when CDC did as well. And what a series to start off the tournament.
It was a very close game. I honestly say this game could have gone either way. A lot of it just boiled down to, again, just initiation.
Alright, indeed. And there we have it. Secret 2-1 against CDC, and back to the panel.
Back to the panel. Team Secret clutch out the victory in a 2-1 series. Guys, all you guys, said Secret, right? Both
After the
couches.
draft.
After the draft.